Good morning, and welcome to Lit Bashing, where the L stands for Legions, the I stands for Imperialis, and the Bashing stands for Kit Bashing. It's an unscripted video, so expect all sorts of amazingly exciting, wonderful things to come out of my face hole. Today we're doing a little bit of an unboxing of all the cool stuff that I've managed to get. I hope you all were as successful as I am. I managed to get one of everything except for the new Malcador tanks. And that's not because I couldn't, it's because I didn't want to get them. I mean, they look cool and I'm sure they've got lots of cool potential, but no, my pile of potential is, this is not even a fraction of it. So I thought I'd leave those for a moment until I'd got through some of my other lit bashing projects. So let's have a look at what I did get. I did get the Solar Auxilia support, the Legiones Astartes support, the Spartan assault tanks, and the 2 paper products. Shout out to HLS Models in Erith for getting me the slaughter cards. They were out of stock. He happened to be sent 2 as opposed to 1 and sent me a message saying, hey, we did get 2 in. So thanks very much to him. Right, let's start with the Solar. Now, the reason I got this one was for 2 reasons. One, because with a certain paint job, those should be Astartes quality, I think. Change the guardsman standing next to them to a marine. Boom, you've got Astartes rapiers. Paint these in the same colour as your Legion. Boom, Astartes tarantulas. So it's just a nice way of getting an awful lot more to bulk out this box. The designs are slightly different, but I think on the table from a distance, you'll get away with that. So let's open it up. I don't know whether I'll do a fast forward through the opening or whether you'll be hearing what I'm saying right now. Maybe I'll do both. Maybe I'll let it play for this silly nonsense and then fast forward through the rest. And sure enough, standard way that these sprues are working. 2 identical sprues with half the options on each. These seem a bit more modular compared to the infantry sprue. We've got an awful lot of weapons separate, an awful lot of ball joints separate, an awful lot of caterpillar treads separate, which is good so far as I'm concerned, because all of that means it'll be easier to use the bits for other pieces. Dated 2023, which is good. Means we weren't waiting too long for these ones. I know people have questioned why some of the others have dates as far back as 2021. Yeah, it's because development takes a while. Yeah, there's been delays, there's been a pandemic, so it's not surprising that we're getting sprues dated as far back as that. But these ones do seem to be fairly new in the scheme of things. So what am I going to use these for? As I said, I'm going to use these tarantulas and rapiers to boost out my Astartes. But also, I'm going to use these mini bomb tanks. The Cyclops, I want to say. Where are they? These ones, the Cyclops. I want to use those as an automated gurney for Solar Auxilia medic characters. Ivos Jovan, I believe his name is. Although I'm sure someone in the comments can tell me if his name isn't Ivos Jovan. So, good first box. And of course, lots more round bases, which are always very useful. You can get little MDF ones that are good if you want to, base it traditionally using sand or texture paint. But the Legions Imperialis bases are so good that if you can get more of those, all for the better. And it's notable they're not selling the 25 mils separately, because obviously if we had separate 25 mils, we'd build our premium units with only 3 or 4 to a base as opposed to 5, and goodness, who on earth would do something as nefarious as that, tantamount to 3D printing. Right, instruction booklet good, I'm not going to check whether all the numbers are correct, but I'm sure they are. There's a little bit of difference between the numbers on the sheet and the numbers on the sprue for the old world box, but I think that was an exception rather than a rule. Generally speaking, the instructions seem to be pretty good now. Now let's try the Legion's Astartes support. Now actually I should have left one of those sprues out because I do want to compare the two sizes to make sure that it's not going to be too obvious that we're mixing and matching on the table. Generally speaking though, mixing and matching is good. Variety is the spice of life. The more varied poses and loadouts can be, especially at this scale, the less homogeneous it looks. I know some people like the kind of homogeneous armies, the, look at the big pile of bodies coming towards you, but I like variety, in case that wasn't obvious from the very existence of this channel. Here we go again, 2 identical sprues, as is the standard, which means you've got 2 Leviathans per sprue, 2 Dorodeos per sprue, and 2 Rapiers, 2 Tarantulas. Now, Games Workshop clearly think that a Dreadnought is worth, I don't know the maths, a Dreadnought is worth kind of 4-ish other units. Maybe that's true, maybe. I mean, they do look cool. Interesting, look how... That's silly. Look how articulated these legs are. I mean, great, again, for kit bashing and reposing. Looking forward to that. But considering Contemptor legs are in one piece, that's 1, 2, 3, at least 3 pieces per leg plus a separate hip joint. That's going to be a lot of reposing for Leviathans. Not so much for Dorodeos, but that's okay. They're kind of weapons platforms anyway. But yeah, Leviathans are going to be fun to play with the posing. There aren't really any Leviathan or Dorodeo characters, are there? There's lots of Contemptor characters. You've got Ancient Rylanor, you've got the 2 Salamander Dreadnoughts, but there's not really any character Leviathans. Tell me in the comments, all you lore buffs, whether there are any good character Leviathans I could kit bash. In any case, fun sprue. Solar sprue as well out, just to make sure the scales aren't too different. And no, pretty much identical. The design's a bit different, but in terms of size, very, very similar indeed. And in fact, to mix and match even further, you could probably use the heads of one on the bodies of the other just to really mix and match. So yeah, I think that's doable. If I paint one of these purple, who's not going to say it's Emperor's Children? Right. And of course, again, more lovely round bases. No bases. Sad face. I base my tanks. Don't at me. Oh. Nice little decals. Roman numerals are always the most useful one. Skulls are always good too. How many pieces are we talking? Oh, not that many pieces compared to some of the other tanks. Yeah, this is kind of comparable to a Rhino rather than comparable to a Sakaran. Pintle mounted multi-melters. Melters are going to be useful. There aren't many melters that aren't Titan scale at the moment in the game, so that's going to be useful. Ooh, Beaky tank commanders. Previously, they've been the Mark II tank commanders, but these come with Beaky tank commanders. Interesting. They might be useful for some sentence finishings. Nice. Not too many pieces, which is probably for the best in the context of these guys. But lots of good pieces. Lots of good weapons hatches. Ooh, dated 2024. They were rushed to print. Or they knew it was going to be delayed and so backdated it. Either way. New sculpt. Very clean, very neat, very detailed. This is a good sprue. I like this sprue. Let me get a Kratos and a Spartan from somewhere. And how are we looking size-wise? Okay, about as long as a Kratos. A little bit longer than a Sakaran. Makes sense. So about a very good scale compared to the 28mm stuff. Fun. Now, there aren't many Spartan variants that aren't just, Land Raiders, Spartans, Land Raider Spartans. So I expect most of the variant kit bashes will come from the Proteus kit when that's released, which we know is coming because I've heard it's in their book. We'll have a look in a minute. But this kit is a great kit if you just want to build Spartans, and who doesn't, to be honest. Nice. Let's do the cards next. Now, I know these are like gold dust for some of you. I'm very disappointed that I wasn't able to get the original set of cards, so I am going to have to chase those down. I'll wait until, I'm not paying eBay scalping prices, but if someone genuinely, has given up the game or is selling off a bunch of stuff, I'll happily buy on the secondary market there. But nope, refusing to pay the nonsense that the scalpers are putting. So I'm very glad I got these for even less than RRP because of getting them from HLS. It's a much matter coating than I was expecting. Nice. Let's have a look. There's 22 cards. Now, or I didn't get the originals, I don't know what to expect, but ooh. Nice. I was expecting art cards, but I suppose this actually makes more sense. Because you get all the information. Although I think you could probably have put it portrait, had all of that on this side, because there's an awful lot of wasted horizontal space. So I reckon you could have had it that way around with that information on as well, and then had some nice art on that side. But, small complaints. Good card stock. A little bit bendy, but that might just be because of how cold and wet it is at the moment, so I'm not going to hold that against them. Jink evolves from Smoochum. It annoys me slightly that they're calling the Land Raiders as opposed to Proteus, and the Spartans as opposed to Land Raider Spartans. And the same thing with these, they're calling them Land Speeders and Javelins, whereas in fact they're both Land Speeders. It's Land Speeder Proteus and Land Speeder Javelins. So I'd rather them go Legion Proteus, but I guess everything's called a Proteus. I don't know, I understand why they've done it for shorthand, but it is annoying, because Javelins are Land Speeders. Oh well, looking forward to those when they get released in, I assume, 2034. The new formations, we've got the Sky Hunter Phalanx. 4 Vanguard units, so that's basically the whole of the Vanguard box, isn't it? And there's the whole of the Vanguard box. We haven't got any light armor yet in the game, so I'll have to wait for those to come. Drop Pod Assault. Nice. Artillery Company. Fun. See, I wonder what artillery the Astartes is going to get. I don't know enough about the 28mm ranges to know what artillery we can expect. All the Bane Blades. Fun. So yeah, good cards. Good cards. Not worth £75 or whatever stupid numbers eBay's reckoning at the moment. One person, I think, said £124 or nearest offer. No. For those of you who are going to go for those, like, I get it. I knew I bought things that I've desperately wanted to scalp before, Zelda collector stuff and things. So I do understand it, and I'm not here to tell you where to spend your money, but, it's just going to keep happening. But also they'll be first against the wall when the revolution comes. So, swings and roundabouts. The book. Warhammer, the Horus Heresy, Legions Imperialis, the Great Slaughter. Ooh, very creaky new book. Oh, goodness me. This is the burden of duty. Duty is never an easy burden, for we each must carry it alone. No one will offer thanks that we bear it, but the trials we have endured can be recorded. The Great Slaughter is our burden. I'm going to stop calling it Great Slaughter in a minute. Is our burden, one of many from that age of darkness when Horus turned upon the Emperor and forever shattered the Imperium. It is a burden of death, of billions upon billions of lives extinguished and forgotten. It is a burden of destruction, of worlds laid waste and cities ruined so that none shall ever dwell in them again. It is a burden of ignorance, that we went willingly into the laughter. That'll be the last time I say laughter. Fun. I like fluff. Fluff's good. All my armies are built for fluff. I do not build for competitive. I build for would this happen? Which is why in my Isfahan 3, I've got my Emperor's Children, who are supposed to be like zoomy, flyy, killy, stabby. They're a garrison force, like they're a bastion, because they're there first and they're waiting for their Primarch to arrive. So I've got this like headcanon of Eidolon and all of his friends sitting there in a bunker, all really wanting to go out and join the World Eaters, killing everyone. But, no, they were told to wait for their Primarch, so they're all just itching, wanting to go out and fight. So I've never painted Emperor's Children tarantula batteries before because it seems counterintuitive, but I think that'll be fun. So that when I play it like Isfahan 3, I can have them holding back, knowing that in their tiny little plastic heads, they are desperate to go out and do some loyalist smashing. So, contents. Titan Death's going to be fun. I won't spend too much time on this because I'm not sure how the copyright rules work. I know some Games Workshop channels, go through every single page, but they also seem to be GW partners. And I'm not. I'm just purely amateur at this point. But, if you want me to become a partner, subscribe, follow, share. The more follows I have, the more chance that they'll reach out and go, hey, do you want some free shit? And I'll say, yes, please. And then presumably sign my life away. Lots of fluff. I'll skip through. Again, I don't want to be playing with copyright here. God, that's a lot of fluff. I'm going to enjoy reading this. So yeah, all of that's fluff. Not even kind of... Here we go. This is where we get to kind of useful for in-game fluff, as in telling you about color schemes, telling you about all the other stuff you might need. Saturnine Rams. I'm sure he does. The Theta Garmand Deathless. The Bormanite Devils. God, they have some fun names, don't they? The Traitor Hosts. Sons of Horus, yes we know. Emperor's Children, yes we know. World Eaters, yes we know. Death Guard, yes we know. Iron Warriors, yes we know. Alpha Legion, yes we know. Or do we? Chthonian Headhunters. Arcadian Janissaries. And, of course, the Legio Titanicus. Fun. Campaigns. I'm sure for all of you playing campaigns, you'll find those very useful. Additional missions. I'm sure all of those of you actually getting to play the game will enjoy those. Speaking of which, if anyone's in South East London or Kent and wants to play a game, hit me up, because no one else I know has been able to get the models. Lego Mortis. I'm going to make a whole goddamn maniple of these. Like that entire thing. That entire thing, plus the DSERI. So, you know, keep following if you want to see me try the DSERI. Oh look, models we can't get. Fun. That's a good bit of art. I've used that bit of art on my channel a few times. So good art. Ah, here's the fun bit. This is the bit I'm going to be spending some time on because I like seeing painted models. Blood Angels. Nice. With Legio Defensor. I think Titan Legions should clash. I know there's Ultramarines especially like to go for the Knights and the Titans that are blue, but, you know, I think let them stand out, let them have their time. This is their game, really. There's all the new models we're going to get. We've got these. We've got these. Haven't got those yet, but they'll be coming soon, I'm sure. What's interesting is they've opted to give us 3 bases per sprue of jet bikes, which is nice. You know, more of them, good. But I do wonder if originally there were 3 to the base and then they realised that there were too many, so they split them up further. Fun. Hex maps. I like hex maps. And tokens that are probably about as thick as the tokens that were in the actual box. Nice. As a book, do I like it? Yes. I'm looking forward to reading all the fluff, so that gets my vote. I would have liked to see more painted pages. There was only kind of 2 pages of painted models, and half of those were box art. So that's a shame. I would have liked to see more examples of full legions, but, you know, maybe that just tells me I need to get my actual army fully painted and also convince a pig to fly. No, good book. Good book, if minimal. Good cards, if minimal. Sprues, very good. No complaints there. And that's the end of this little unscripted session. So thank you for sticking with me, if you're still sticking with me. Remember to like and subscribe if you liked me. Subscribe even if you don't, because you can be one of those people who comes on and dislikes every video. I do have someone. I don't know who it is, but thank you. Still engagement. So cool. So thank you again for all of you for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always. Peace and love. And please, please, please keep on lip bashing.